The following is a presentation of iRacing on PTR TV. We'd like to thank all of our channel partners for their support. Please like and subscribe to the channel, and we hope you enjoy today's broadcast.
February hits because the Rolex 24 is done, and well, we show up to Daytona International Speedway ready to party. We've already put the 500 behind us, and now we got to do the great thing. It's triple bypasses time to do, well, their version of a Daytona 500, but not the Daytona 500. Yeah, that's a great introduction if there ever was one. Welcome everybody here to PTR TV for the Palm Tree Pacing 75 here on the track. It's gonna be myself, Bradley Dalton, here running production, which is not something I'm used to doing in the least bit. So forgive me if something weird happens, but it's gonna be myself and, well, my wonderful friend. Good morning. It's early for you. I appreciate you jumping in as Corey is under the weather. How are you today?
I've got out of watching one Daytona race. So what we all want to do now is either do or watch another Daytona race, hopefully with less wrecking than the end of that last one. Hopefully with more of a pack together. Although last time Triple Bypass went here, it wasn't exactly the cleanest affair. We can do better. It's the 500. We're all in the mood to get in the lines and push it out together. And hopefully that name doesn't come true.
This is going to be a good one here. Qualifying up and running at the moment. So we are going to let this thing go through and party while it's going through. I think we talk about points here really quick because points are kind of an interesting situation. Kyle Gresh, not a single win, but 3. And Brad Kress, second place. Nerney up in third with a win. Nerney's been dangerous this season. Currently running P3. He's in a pretty good position here.
Worth noting for this race, by the way, lots of demand. People really are excited after Daytona. We have slightly over 40 drivers, and 6 aren't going to make the cut after qualifying. We're only going to start with 40. Some of the slowest are going to be on their way out at the door. It's a popular own kind of carnage. Maybe we should have the triple bypass duels.
I think that would be a really good option, honestly, to run some triple bypass duels. I think it would get us some pretty good stuff here. And a big shout out has to go to Dominic Zanobi for sponsoring today's race. Of course, a big shout out to Dominic, him and his family, and of course his daughter, which I believe, if I remember right, and my memory doesn't always serve me right, I believe that he sponsored a race right when his daughter was born, if I'm not mistaken.
It sure is a day to go with. I mean, I've done a birthday race before, so I've done weird stuff too. But you know, on such a historic day, take us all to Daytona at the same time. Why not?
Here, very quickly, trying to get done, and well, he knows he's on TV. Spin out time there going into the pits. McClendon currently running a qualifying lap here. Let's see what McClendon can put down and see if McClendon can find a quick pace of time here. Mr. 3-time going for the run. And well, looks like he is going to go into the pits here. His qualifying done, dusted through and over. So he goes through and along. 30 seconds left to go in qualifying. I think we mentioned this, Howie, but only 40 cars get in, and we have a lot more than 40 cars qualifying. So what does that mean for us?
It means that Dominic Zanobi might be below the cut on his own sponsored race, not to scare you or anything, but he's sitting 40 big tower, which that is an awkward way to do it. I'm so sorry for your loss.
Oh, Zanobi. Please tell me he made it through. 5 seconds left to go here in the session. We know the top 40 will make it. This goes, and of course, it's your See, this is why I rely on Corey. Corey usually does these fun run-throughs of scripts of things that I don't tend to do that well on. If it's your first time here, don't make it your last time. Like, subscribe, ring the bells, do all of the fun things here, and be sure to join us. We're on the chase for 1,900 subscribers. We need, now that we're here, Howie, we're going to go through the starting grid as it stands. If I can get the buttons to work, because again, this is not what I'm used to doing. Here we go. Let's kick off the starting grid.
Am I leading? I can lead the starting grid. That's perfectly fine. Had it right ready. Steve McLendon in 1, 6 next to Jeremy Brown are in 2nd, behind Keaton Crabbers and Trevor McLaughlin. Malame, I don't have to load, unlike Corey, up in 4th. Michael Hopkins is next to Dylan Freeman in 5th and 6th. On the next row, Derek Catt and Walker McAnulty. And then on row 5 is Anthony Suarez and Aiden Amaro. We do have the 40 cars on the grid, so how fast can we get this done?
Let's see how quick we can get this through here. Going on to in 12th place, P13 on the night, Kyle Gresh with Ward Fisher in 14th. 15th, Jason R. Benson. The R stands for running the draft. And P16 there, Adam Bossy, the Twitchmobile, finding his way through on the night. 17th place, Mark Jarrell with Ben Harkham in P18, Caleb Bass P19, Jimmy McKee in P20. Moving on from there, Howie, take us on the next 10.
Mike Sarah, Elton Wu, we got Casey Ellis in the 835, Zach Nerney and Al Corey in P25. Keith Handlin lines up 26 next to That's a tricky one. Eddie Heige, I'm going to just say it, and we're going to keep going. Hugo Ortiz is in 28th. Marty Rogers is in 29. And Matt Harmon is in 30.
Moving on from there, we're going to go P31 on the night. Kyle Dean, Kyle Dewey, the Kyles finding their way beside each other. 32nd place there for Kyle Dewey. We'll see how he can hold. Chris Graves and Cameron Kane, 33rd, 34th. Brad Kress, 35th. Tex Nichols, 36th. 37th, John Dowdle? We're going to go Dowdle. And Jeff Slaughter in the Mountain Dew Mobile in P38. P39, Justin Baxter and Bill Moore in 40th place. Not qualifying on the night, Dominic Zanobi, who is on the grid right now. Unfortunately,
that's called a waiver. That's a provisional. Right there. He gets to be number 41. I think that's the provisional. I think Al's like, you are going to get the sponsor provisional. But behind, not on the grid, Samson Lewis Jr., Caleb Brown, John Crutchley, John Barton, and Phoenix Madden.
And I do have confirmation on the back end from Al Corey. They did give the race sponsor a waiver. So 41 cars will be racing in this Palm Tree Pacing 75 here as we go. Quick race details on the night here. 55% fuel load, 3 sets of tires, 1 fast repair, 16 incident drive-through, 20 incident DQ, and no stage break. I cannot tell you how happy it makes me that they don't run a stage break in triple bypass.
We dreaded the stage break. I mean, that sure was a time in history, wasn't it? Everybody come down the pits now. Look, we might go cautions enough times that we might get the inevitable stop anyway. As ever, fuel very, very limited in this series. I mean, usually the car can run up to 40. We're going to be getting around 22, 23 laps by my estimation per tank. So you're going to be doing a lot of stops, and some of those might come under the green flag, which is really what Daytona is all about.
Yeah, and weather here for Daytona, well, I know the Daytona 500 was windy as all get up. What's the weather here? Well, it's 65 degree air, 83 degree track, 2:30 p.m. virtual time, right when it should be starting, and 45% humidity with 2-mile-an-hour wind. So picture perfect Daytona weather, I can confirm. This is going to be a good one. Howie, make your predictions now. Who's winning? Who's the heartbreak of the night? I want to know what you think.
My heart's already been broken by Kyle Busch, so I don't think it can really take too much more, to be honest. Maybe Kyle Gresh can get a first actual win around here right now. Far enough back, but how much does the grid position really matter at Daytona? You can make your moves up the grid. I'm going to just, if I'm going to throw one out, I'm going to say it could be Gresh's.
You know what? I could see that. We'll see how this one goes here as it goes along. We're pacing along here, getting things ready to go, and I am going to say... Oh, who am I going to say on the night? This now becomes my question because I don't have a solid answer for who I'm going to say on the night. My prediction for the night, as I think about it, well, I'm buying myself time because I don't have a solid answer, to be honest.
Well, 2 turns left.
Oh, 2 turns left. I'm going to say... Oh, pick a number 1 through 40. I'm going to say whoever's in 21st. Mike Serra. Mike Serra, you get my prediction for the night. Don't make me regret it. Mike Serra might make me regret it. I guess we'll find out what happens here as they go through. We're coming through turn 4, getting ready for the drop of the green flag. And this is going to be a fun one here as we get set up. It's Palm Tree Pacing 75 laps of action coming at you here from Triple Bypass. McClendon, Brown, Crothers, McLaughlin lead the way in the top 4. Barney's got a green flag. He's ready to drop the green flag. It's not Bart Simpson, it's Barney, and we're away here for 75 laps. We make it through the first couple of corners here. Down the backstretch, I already see some moves being made. Things getting kind of crazy here early on as we go through, but everybody seems to be making their way along here. 2 by 2 we go. Where we stop, well, nobody really knows. McClendon already dropping down. Jeremy Brown up front, but again, this is lap 1 of Daytona here, Howie. So is it really that big of a deal if you lose a little bit of order early on? I don't think it is.
I mean, I did do the 500 earlier on too far. You're not getting back without miracles coming your way. And already we sort of splintered this pack in two. There's been a little bit of disconnect. There's been some drivers making big moves down. And already that top lane has fractured into two. There's sort of drivers in the wall that barely exist. They're getting abducted by UFOs. We go, this is one of the more chaotic Daytona starts I've ever.
For a split second there down the backstretch, and then we go back 3 wide, thankfully. That was back around Hugo Ortiz here, and the number 5 of Elton Wu coming along. Everybody holding on there in the back of the pack. Up front, we got Dylan Freeman in the mix, Jeremy Brown, McLaughlin, Steve McClendon. Again, this front pack looking very organized and ready for some super speedway racing. As we drop back, though, is fracturing. This is Elton Wu, P26. Back to Bill Moore a little bit, all the way down. We already have a lot of drivers through, all the way back to Justin Baxter and P40. Our race sponsor, Dominic Zanobi, already earning a couple of places, but again, it's Daytona. This is sort of just the formality laps, as I like to call them. We got to do 75 laps here of action, and really, until lap 74, it doesn't really matter where you're at.
You want to be with the pack, though, and it feels like everybody is driving in order to make sure that they are as far off the back of that pack as possible. Like, 3 wide right now is just going to kill everyone around you, and without no guaranteed stage portion, yeah, you can expect that, like, people may wreck once or twice, but they never wreck when you want them to here. So we've already got drivers dropping off the back. I'm quite concerned for them. This car is very punishing if you fall off the rear.
The draft, all important here at Daytona, and if it goes away, I mean, yeah, it's really bad here as we watch through cars continuing along through 1 and 2, holding along down the backstretch. We're gonna go, and again, you can see the front of the pack there, single filing it out and just really sort of holding onto it right now. They're not stressing anything here throughout, all the way to Ward Fisher, which gets us all the way back out of the top 10. It's single file, and then we go double file. So this is kind of just everyone running through and running along here. I gotta say, if you're in YouTube chat, give me your prediction. Who's gonna win here? Who do you have your money on? Because this is one of those wild card races where even if you're the best driver, if you get caught up in an incident, I mean, you can very quickly turn into a Kyle Larson with half your car missing.
This model in iRacing for the next gens, I'd say is more punishing than the real one when it comes to both losing the draft without a car behind you to sort of give you that bubble behind, and also going side drafting. You can really pull a car back further than you might have seen on TV earlier today. That top lane running quite far. You could probably fit another car in there, and the problem is that you could fit another car in there. Someone might try and fit another car in there. So I'd be a little bit careful about giving that much margin open. This bottom line mostly acting sensible, but I'll say, like, they're a lot further apart and a lot more space than I typically see even in the last week of races.
Yeah, riding on board right now with Jeremy Brown. This is what it looks like when you're the leader. And I gotta wonder, are we thinking a little bit right now about fuel? If you're someone else not up in the front, are we thinking about fuel? Because that is kind of one of the things I got to wonder about. We saw that being played a lot by the Toyotas in the real 500. Apologies if that's a spoiler for anyone, but that is one of those things that we had to watch on, because if you're back in the pack a little bit more here, as we'll hop on board back here in the back. Let's ride on board really quick with one Ellis, 835 here of Casey Ellis. I mean, just kind of listen. There is lifting. There's a little bit of just letting that draft pull you along here further back in the pack. Versus, I mean, when we were just up front with Jeremy Brown, it's full throttle, 100%. Look at that, 8,400 RPM, 8,000 RPM. Even if we jump up with McClendon, 8,100. Jeremy Brown, well, still sitting 81, 8,200, just holding it out, trying to just manage things through. I gotta wonder, are we playing any games here early on, or are these guys gonna say, you know what, we're not gonna do that?
Well, the less fuel is available, the less it's actually worth saving fuel. If you have 40 laps available, it's expected you're going to do a longer run, and as a result, it becomes more valuable to save as much as possible. Whereas when you have a 20-lap run in these, you have less time to save those laps. You might save 1 or 2. That's going to translate to your pit stop later, because the delta between you and people that burned it all is going to be smaller.
Oh, I don't like this coming through. That's a big hit there from the 82, and that is going to be a big wreck weekend. How did we catch that live with Eddie Haggig? What did we do to catch that live? I don't know what I did, but apparently I did something good because I caught the incident live. Trevor McLaughlin with a meatball flag here. Let's dial up a real quick PTR TV replay and check out how that one just happened.
Sometimes lucky things happen. I wouldn't question it too much. Not too lucky for the people on the track, though. Maybe the first of several. Away we go around it. I mean, 3 wide and the 34 and the 42 are pretty close to each other, so a tiny twitch from one could easily cause a cascade. Everybody on the top just gets cleared out as a result. I mean, it keeps happening ahead as well. I don't know quite how that 8.
Let's dial that replay up here and see if we can get an idea of what happened on the 8. So the 8 was already involved in the incident here. Oh, Brad Kress in the 9.
He just gets hooked. I meant the 9. I saw it from a distance, but I was thinking about the 9. Like, he just gets hooked.
Hard smack there. Let's hop on board with him
like
really quick.
Feels like he's doing the right thing, and he just sort of, another car ends up in his way. Wreck happens up top. He actually even goes below. Oh, he gets unstable below the yellow. Tries to bring it back up and gets hooked on the way. That's rough.
That is very, very rough. That's a domino effect one if I've ever seen it. And you can see there, luckily he's not collected by the 81 of Mark Durrell there going through. Well, we've had number 1 here on the night as it goes. So we go back to live pictures here, still on board with Brad Kress. Eddie Haggig has a meatball flag here to pay for his problems and sins. We saw how that one happened. Let's see if anyone opts in for the pits. I would be surprised if anyone stays out here. I would think at minimum you're coming in for fuel.
And whether or not you take your fast repair on this league is a real question at Daytona, because the wrecks are not freak accidents. They do happen. And can you sort of guess whether your damage can maybe be dealt with in a pit stop or two? Or do you think you absolutely need that done now? Now, I've made blunders on pit road, having it unticked coming in and having big problems. You don't actually know your repairs until you're in the box. But if you think it's just a little bit of aero, then I'd maybe just try and hang in there for the first stop. Know that another one could very much come, and try not to burn it early, because if you end up losing a wheel with the fast repair gone, you're done.
Indeed. It's very interesting to kind of see where this is at and what is happening to it. Fast repairs obviously going to be a plenty because they are very, very, very important here. And of course, let's talk about incident limits. That's one that we haven't talked about either. You know, we have the incident limits on the night that we have to think about, 16 to 20. So if you get 16 incident points, which if you think about that, that's just 4 4Xs. That's 4 car contacts, Howie. I mean, you drive a lot more than I do in the service. So that's kind of easy to do.
I made it through a 13 caution, 500-mile race with 8. So you can be unlucky, you really can be, but 4 times in 75 laps, I've indicated that the entire field is having the worst time of their life and you're just along for the ride, or you are not playing around all of these wrecks right, because 4 times is actually a surprising amount of time, given that, you know, we've made it almost a 7th of the way through the race. Now, I thought the car we were following was going to take the Le Mans chicane there.
Yeah, it does look like it here that the 2 is dropping back. I'm not sure why Trevor's dropping back, but he is there, so not ideal to see for him as he goes further to the back and tries to get things through. Casey said that he needs a change of pants after that one. I tell you what, Casey, I'll take a change of pants on your behalf, because that was wild. It was absolutely wild, I will say. So yeah, that was very impressive.
Not the wildest thing that's happened at Daytona. I think like wilder will happen. So I would maybe keep. It's a bit like the discussion of the fast repair. If you only have a second spare, do you really want to burn it right now, this early on into the race? If you have more in the drawer, then sure, go ahead. You're dealing with the laundry, not me.
Those where I don't know. I don't know what the best option is here. This is going to be an interesting one. For all of the drivers as they go through. We go up double file, no choose cone here in triple bypass. This is just a get in your lane, stay in your lane, but the leader gets to pick, and Steve McClendon picks inside. But let's be honest, it's, again, Daytona. Inside, outside, I don't think it's really going to make a big difference. for them. So this is one of those.
At the end of a race, it does. At the end of a race, I'd count on the outside if I had a late restart. You get more momentum down the straights, and you might have better. I mean, this early, obviously, no, it does not really matter. And arguably, you probably want the bottom, as that's where most drivers are going to clump up.
That they are. We'll keep an eye on this and see how this one goes here, because this is going to be a very, very fun one to keep an eye on as we look and try to see what in the world is going to happen on this restart. I have an idea of what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be anything too bad, but I have, of course, been proven wrong before. The guys seem to be really settled into a rhythm, which is pretty nice to watch, honestly, and see where it's happening. So I am very much enjoying this for the drivers as they go along here. Kind of taking a look and trying to see where things may end for everyone as they go. I think this is going to be a very, very good run along here as we get things going. Apologies, just trying to get things to not be crazy on the back end as we...
Excellent, but that was excellent buying of time, by the way.
Oh, 100%. That's what we call buying time. Here we go. We're going to restart it as side-by-side, McClendon, Jeremy Brown, Crothers, Hopkins. Top four, they go through, and Dylan Freeman there in P6. See you later, boy, Skater Boy, Ivor Levine lover. Jeremy Brown already covering off, though, here, Howie.
We don't have Corey to burn him. Usually I'm here with Corey and he gets burned for that. So, you know, we're still going 3 wide almost again. Like, we've got to calm this down just a little bit. I think people have to see what happened in the first run and think we just dropped off the back. And do we really want to do it again? You know, be relaxed now. I think the focus right now is stay in line, survive, and get through your pit stops. Hey, you can do crazy things in the last couple runs to try and get position with others. But right now, I mean, don't overcook it and don't try and make big moves, because I think you'll be dragging the other cars back with you.
I think for me, the big number that I would be looking for is really 15 to go, 10 to go. Once we hit that point, if I'm good on fuel, if I'm good on the run, I'm going to let things go. But right now, I think this is one of those where the drivers need to, as you said, just settle in. Up front, Jeremy Brown, Michael Hopkins, McClendon, Crothers, and Derek Catt. Top 5 all settling in single file. They want to try to bring some friends with them if they can as we go through into 1 and 2. Still running that double file, that inside line. Unlike real life, where usually we see the outside line be stacked up, the inside line is what we're seeing really run along here in iRacing. This is pretty interesting to see that not as many people want to be on the high line. Is this a symptom of everyone wants to go single file? Or is this just a symptom of everybody just sort of trying to hold it along here?
I swear somebody asked us online, like, oh, during the race, like, oh, why is everyone going to the, not using the bottom? And I'm going to have to look up the answer, because it's a combination of experience, but also drafting model that affects the reason that people are going to want to go in different spots. I'll try and get that for you, because it is interesting.
Yeah, I want to find out. You have my interest peaked here. So tell you what really has my interest peaked right now is right here, Sexy Waltrip. Corey hates that name. I love the name. Sexy Waltrip, Kyle Gresh going through, and then, well, coming along as well there, that is Caleb Bass making a run on the outside line in that gorgeous black and gold car. Schemes really tend to be my love coming through, and then, of course, I see one person back there running the Connor Zillich paint scheme. Who was that in the Red Bull car? That is Jimmy McKee, actually, and if I remember correctly, Jimmy McKee lives about 15 minutes from my house, if I remember correctly. I don't remember exactly if that's correct, but that sounds right to me for some reason. So I know there's somebody in this league who lives, you know, not that far away from my mom, which is the funny part. So it's about 15 minutes from my house. Double file here we go on Daytona as we come through, and Caleb Bass finding his way up into the front there with Kyle Gresh. Will he try to drop to the inside line? Not yet. Here is, well, Howie, these guys, again, they're holding double file. There's a bit more spacing than we expect, but welcome to the rhythm of Daytona. How long can we keep this up until somebody gets a twitchy little right foot and things get wild?
There's sort of two working theories as to why the bottom doesn't really get used in real life. And one of them is that with the trimmed out cars, the aero effect of the wall is much more pronounced in real life. But the second one is that in real life, the bottom of the track is getting very bumpy. It's not quite as baby smooth as the iRacing scan anymore. So it's getting less and less good on the bottom in real life. Daytona's starting to wear again, whereas we have a very, very, very modern scan of the surface. So that's your interesting knowledge for them.
That it is here as we hop on coming through. Let's run on board for a second with Nerney back here in the middle of the pack. What are we doing for the day? Well, 191 miles an hour, 92. He's running the low line here, and you can see with that draft, I mean, 196 coming into the tri-oval, drops to about 193. He's got about a car and a half gap there. The 41 drops down. Hugo Ortiz, no surprise to see the elbows out boys working together as they go through. The fun of PTR TV, we've started to see a crossover of the leagues here. We've got several elbows out drivers that are racing in triple bypass, and then the inverse, we've got several guys from triple bypass who have went over to elbows out and had some success and some fun here as well. That's a checkup and a half there. Nerney having to hit the brakes a little bit going through. Not sure what caused that, but that was a checkup to be had back in the back of the pack. Him and Ortiz working together, seeing if they can survive. Again, the name of the game right now, I think it's just survive to lap 60, and then from there, let the gloves come off and get a run going.
I think let's not think too far forward to lap 60, because let's think about the green flag pit stops, because ironically it's kind of due. We're almost halfway to the point where people will be thinking about their timing. Obviously at Daytona, you can't really do it on your own. You have to find friends to pit with so that you don't lose the draft entirely. That's going to be a very interesting part where there's going to be a lot of communication. It's a relatively, relaxed league. So people aren't running in big stables. There's a couple people with teammates, but other than that, everyone's in a Discord channel, and they are going to start communicating once we start reaching that point. And we'll see probably one or two groups go for it together if we get that far.
Jonathan Barton in YouTube chat, you got to see Gresh's avatar for the sexy wall trip moniker. Yeah, Corey hates this, and I love it. Every time it comes up, I feel the little twinge in Corey's voice.
Dude,
I enjoy it,
I'm older than Kyle Gresh? I'm older than Kyle Gresh? I hate this. I remember when I was younger than everybody, and now I'm just not. That sucks.
I'm older than Kyle Gresh as well, so, yeah, that's an interesting one. Howie, I didn't know you were older than Kyle Gresh. I thought you were younger than Kyle Gresh.
People underestimate my age. I guess it's the lovely British accent sort of comes to you. You don't really realise that. I get scared about my own mortality. So we're done with the fear. And now these drivers thankfully, the one thing, they don't have to be scared about their mortality on the track because they are in a virtual car that can take any impact in the world. We love to see it.
That we do. I love to see our race sponsor who got the provisional waiver. I've never seen them give a waiver, but Dominic Zanobi, I think, being given a +1 little bit of a blessing here today. Up in the top 10 currently, running P9. He's worked his way up from P41, and he is currently having a good little run here as he goes, just kind of running his way along, holding on, not doing anything too crazy. He's at Harmon, and who is that in front? Bill Moore. That is who there is going through here in this Nichols Oil Pros Cup Series. I can't talk tonight, Howie. I'm not used to doing production on triple bypass.
If there was any more notice, I would have done it. But there was no notice, literally no notice for Daytona today. And you know what? It's Daytona. You can handle this one. Jumping in if you know what you're doing and you're experienced at the job. And the pack's way more sensible this time around. I think they realised they were being silly the first time. This is all right. We do have 2 lanes, but they've stuck together. They've stuck with the pack, apart from those few snooker balls as well.
Don't speak too soon here, because that 878 gave a hard shove to Waltrip down the backstretch there, heading towards 3 as they come around off of 4, going through and along. And you know what, Corey, if you're watching this right now, I hope you're feeling okay, buddy. It really stinks. He reached out about 8 p.m. and said, hey, I am very sick. Can you find someone to do triple bypass with you tonight? And of course, Howie, number 1 pick here, gets a message and says, hey, come along. And then Howie shows up at about 8:30 and said, all right, let's party, which for those of you who haven't realized, Howie's British, so 8:30 p.m. is about, what, 3:30 in the morning for you, if I'm not mistaken? if daylight savings time hasn't jacked me up
It's
yet?
2:30, thankfully. It's 2:30, thankfully. We're only a week apart when daylight savings happens, so you usually don't need to think about the difference. But time certainly does fly. I was up this late because I'm not a very responsible person. Thankfully, I wasn't pulled out of bed. Otherwise, I would have said, no, you've got to find someone else for that one. I was right here doing irresponsible late-night activities, you know? What's not Daytona?
Totally not playing video games instead of sleeping or doing what I do, which is where I nap from about 5 to 8 p.m. and then stay up till 3 a.m. That's totally not what I did today after the finish of the Daytona 500. And I'm totally not going to be up till 3 o'clock in the morning and regret it when I wake up at 7:30 a.m. for work. That's never been something that I've done. Never. Right, Howie? Exactly. Back to the racing on track. Kyle Gresh here. Bill Moore leading now. We've swapped to a new little leader as we go. Bill Moore up front with Gresh coming through. Jeremy Brown peeking around. And kind of looking here, we are 13 laps into this green flag run. We were about a 19 to 21 lap, maybe 22 lap fuel run for some of the guys further back here. So you do the math. We're about 8 laps from a green flag. No, we're not 8 laps. 14 to 19, that's 5. We're 5 to 6 laps from a green flag stop.
Yeah, someone who I'm very proud of finishing lead lap on an iRacing official Daytona 500. The number was about right in my head because in real life you get about 40 to 44. In iRacing you get about 40 on lead and then about 38, 37 further back. So sort of divide by 2, add a couple. It made sense to me. The first time commentator math hasn't gone terribly wrong for anyone. So yeah, that makes sense. Is about the region. Obviously up front you're going to struggle on fuel, and I talked about the difference between a full fuel race and a small fuel race. Well, up front you're going to be burning more comparatively as a percentage of your fuel tank than if you had 40 laps in the tank, and that could really affect your race strategy if you're not given a chance to drop back. It is interesting to limit it so much at Daytona because it does just totally change a lot about the dynamic.
That it does. And the interesting part for me, too, is if you think about it, if guys drop into the pack, what do they put themselves in risk of? They put themselves in risk of the big one and being caught up. But also, I mean, we saw this with Daytona in real life here from Wednesday night on. The wrecks have been happening from the front lately in Daytona, and I don't know what that's a symptom of or a cause, but we've been seeing that. And so it kind of becomes one of those... Yes. You know what? I wasn't going to say it. You said it, and I will agree with it. Silly driving up front tends to become a thing. So here is what I think is going to be interesting. And I know we've called this a lottery track, and we've explained, you know, it almost doesn't matter where you're at. It's going to be a thing. This is truly a lottery track now in every sense of the word. It doesn't matter if you are the best driver on the track. If you have a little bit of an unlucky run, you're going to have a bad day, and it doesn't matter what you do.
I mean, I'm not sure I 110% agree, although I sort of get the underlying point in that there is certainly you can't guarantee an individual win at Daytona by any means, but this is about the length of many people who are very, 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 very consistently able to farm the top proportion of these races. So yeah, maybe you cannot count on P1. There is luck going to the line based on the lines you get, but there are people that can get up there and stay up there and then play the odds in their favour, and we don't get to run this back like an official. We only get one shot at it. You can get screwed by something horrible. It's very, very true. But you will see that, like, you can try and hit the grid next time they do this. Like, if you're not, like, really used to and experienced with the track, you will just fall back and not succeed. Like, you do have to put in some graft and some effort, and then it is those last few laps where you're just hoping it's all come together.
Interesting moment where we kind of go into a position of just what is happening and what is going on. This is going to be a fun one to really keep an eye on here as we go. Lap 28 of 75 up front. Matt Harmon now trying to make a move here to the outside against Kyle Gresh and see if he can make this stick. And Dominic Zanobi, last to first challenge on the night. Well, at least last to P5 as it stands right now. P4 going through and around on that high line, working there with Jimmy McKee as well behind, running through, giving the It's going to be a storybook ending if Dominic Zanobi can get a win here. I'm just going to go ahead and say it. If Dominic Zanobi can get a win, it's going to be a jaw-dropping storybook moment, and I don't know. I don't know what I'll say here, but now he's running P2 side drafting there with Kyle Gresh running along here. I did not expect to see Zanobi all the way up in the front, but welcome to Daytona. Anything can happen.
Storybook ending for me if Kyle Gresh wins, because I had 41 drivers to pick from, and I just picked the one that I knew was relatively consistent and hadn't won a race yet. So I'm saying I've got my own fairy tale story involved.
Keeping an eye here on the run as it goes. You can see everybody getting a little swirly here. Kind of, we see this sometimes happen where guys will start to snake a bit more like they're in the Indianapolis 500 and not the day 5. So it's kind of interesting to see where we're at here and what's happening as these guys are swerving their way through. Lap 30 of 75. We are officially, what, a third race distance right now? If I'm not, well, no, we've passed a third race distance maybe. Have we? I don't know how to do math. What's 75 divided by 3?
Time flies when you're green at Daytona. Time flies when you're green. I mean, look at this. We've only had one wreck. It wasn't even that big of one. And then we've just been running. I'll take it.
Did we just commentator curse the field? No, we've never done that.
No, because it's inevitable. It's inevitable, and also Corey Silver's not here. So you got both of those, you know?
Yeah, let's be honest. That'd be one of those. It'd be kind of funny if it happens here at this point as we go through. Matt Harmon, again, holding up to the front. Kyle Gresh in second as we go along. Hop on the blimp here and take a look as we go. The 27, the 46, the 40, and the 878. We're starting to... What are we starting to do up front? We're starting to see these guys open up, which is not what I was expecting as we go along. These guys are starting to give a little bit of room to each other, more than usual, and, well, in triple bypassing, but I gotta say, what do I see right now? A lot of good single file racing coming along here. Matt Harmon leading through. We're single file all the way down to near the back here as we have a couple of cars diving into the pits. I believe that is, if I can find the car. Well, here we go. First run of cars into the pits as we go along. Everybody opting in. Let's get an idea who this is. Jeff Slaughter, Mark Jarrell, Al Corey, all picking up black flags for speeding on
You're
pits.
right on that. That's a lot of black flags that have all come in one go. I did see a lot of brakes locking on the way in, so I sort of figured like the odds were reasonable that this was going to happen among them. Let's see if we can get a replay here of quite how bad that entry was, because this isn't like a traditional bad entry where drivers just sort of sucker punch each other in. I just think multiple drivers just completely missed their mark and hadn't practiced entry. Three lockups, and all four cars lock up on the way in, and that's all she wrote.
It was rough, and Al Corey still sitting in the lane. We've had more cars in. Nerney missed his pit box as he's had to go through. That is not ideal for him at all, as he's had to stop back into his box and go along. Green flag stops are well and true underway here. Nerney going through. Daniel Williams now leading the pack as we go along. Green flag pit stops have hit. We knew the time was going to be coming, and we know we've got at least one, maybe two more stops that are going to have to happen. More cars peeling off here. Going along, this front pack is going to stay out. And then we've got 2 seconds back here to Jason Benson. Benson pitting solo.
Oh, no.
Oh, this is a disaster for
this.
Benson. This is painful.
Ironically, the stop-go penalty for free driver speeding, yeah, that's a lot of time you lose and that sucks, but at least you have two people that did it with you and you're leaving together. There they come out. So yeah, you do sort of lose a lot of time to that, and that sucks, but it certainly beats the alternative of being the only one that speeds in the pack. Missing your box of the green can be devastating though, because if you leave that box 3 seconds behind the pack, you're done. You know, that's unless they stop up for you, that's all over. So, you know, but there's nothing worse than just going for it solo and just you are literally praying for a caution at that point. Here come more. That means only a couple staying out on the track.
Steve McClendon in here, Michael Hopkins, the 35 of Daniel Williams, Keaton Crothers, Dylan Freeman, all of that front pack coming through. Jimmy McKee, Walker McAnulty, I believe Kyle Dewey in, Ward Fisher in. Basically everyone on the field that you can see is in, and that means the first car out on the pace is Jeremy Brown coming through the backstretch here. Let's see him, the 40 and the 878, Bill Moore, Caleb Bass. Where are they going to come out in relation to these cars in the lane? They are not moving right now. This is absolutely shocking. Welcome to Green Flag Pit Stops. These things are scary, let me tell you, going through. And these guys do not need to pit. They're in a good position. Bill Moore needs to pit. He is actually, no, Bill Moore does not need to pit. He's the first car that doesn't need to pit. Here's Dylan Freeman. He's going to try to blend in into this mix. Where are they going to blend in with Jeremy Brown? Dylan Freeman, first car out of the pits, and he's got a second on Walker McAnulty. He needs to have a little bit less of a gap there. Jeremy Brown now, there it is, coming through that cone. Where's he going to come out? Where? He blends in there. It looks like behind Walker McAnulty, Dylan Freeman. He's still got pace, though. They're going to get past Walker. And they are going to go through, and Dylan Freeman somehow gets the lead through this. If he can get up to pace, can he get up to pace? He's not going to block, which I think is the wise decision. He'd probably get dumped, and he does not block there. He goes along. He's looking fine at the moment, and there we go, settling in. Green flag cycle complete.
Might not be the first one as well, which is really going to break things up. We obviously don't have a stage, to remind the audience, and we certainly will need to get more fuel into these cars, so it might just cycle. Bill Moore up 38 from his starting position up into P2 after executing that again, but we are, of course, now plenty split out in terms of groups. You can see them all on the track, but big gaps back upon back upon back.
How is this field going to compress? This is going to be the interesting thing, because Hopkins and crew here 3 seconds back from the top 5, and then you go all the way back down to P20 here. Suarez 3 seconds, 3.6 back in closing. I mean, Justin Baxter here 3 seconds off. How is the pack going to accordion back together? Are they? This is going to be interesting. 2.3 seconds here for Michael Hopkins as we go here. Hop on board. I mean, this is the gap that they got to close. And, well, you have a freight train of about 15 cars together here. If they can get it going to close up to McAnulty, they might be able just to make a big old run.
Interesting that some of these packs will be able to get back together if they run with discipline. I've covered quite a few races on this track over the course of the week, and oftentimes a disciplined enough group from behind can start to snail their way up to the next one. But especially if they're long enough, they're running enough single file, and they've got enough push behind them. That too wide might not help them, though. Don't want to say the dreaded word, but obviously people are going to now be hoping for factors outside of their control to bring the field back together. It's not totally impossible. For now, we're sitting on top of this 5, and we're going to need to see that backpack making up ground.
They want factors outside of their control that do not involve them being involved in those factors outside of their control. This is one of those moments where if you're at Bristol, you're just fingers crossed for a solo spin going through. But of course, we're at Daytona. No such thing as a solo spin. And also, can we talk about Al Corey for a second? I don't think we've talked about Al Corey other than, well, his one moment there. He's a lap down now, but he got a refresh during the off week. That Canadian Tire car got a paint scheme refresh, and he was hoping it would bring him some good luck. I mean, I think the car looks doggone good there in orange. It's much better than red. But of course, Rafter there, yeah, you got to wonder for Rafter there. It
looks good, but I can't recognize it now. Like, I've always known Al Corey as the red one. I've never looked at the numbers. I've just known Al Corey as the red Canadian Tire car. And that is breaking my brain. Just it does look better than it did. I'll absolutely give him that. It's still, like, confusing me.
Yeah, this is one of those where you see it and you kind of go, okay, what? It catches me off guard a little bit, too, I'm going to be honest. Because I was looking earlier and I was like, Al Corey's not racing. But I've said his name 5 times. Al Corey is indeed racing. Al Corey is just, well, doing Al Corey things. Since we've gotten through green flag cycles, let's go ahead and run a quick through the field here as we go. We'll start up front here with Jeremy Brown, of course, started second, currently first, and then we go from there behind with Bill Moore going in from 40th to second. I mean, that's impressive there from Bill Moore. Caleb Bass there started 19th, currently third in that Hendrick car's Zach Brown band car. Dylan Freeman, 4th place here, started in 6th, and then, of course, the sweet car Walker McAnulty there behind, started 8th, currently 5th.
Hopkins leads it out ahead of Mike Sauer, just behind. quite a few drivers making up some good places, like Jimmy McKee and Carl Dewey, who made up 23. Steve McLendon is one of our biggest droppers, down 9 from a front row start behind Dominic Zanobi. We talked about him. Our provisional has managed to keep on going, second pack running, and we have Ben Harkham alongside Carl Gresh is now back within the field as well, and there's still even more when we go back.
Keeping this going. It's a 40-car grid, so we're going to keep it going through. Jason Benson here. Kyle Dean started 31st, made a beeline for P15 here. Cameron Kane coming through in the 37 with Casey Ellis just behind. Harmon, Keaton Crothers. That sums out the second pack, and then we're going to zoom this a little bit because then you go through back to Anthony Suarez there in the 023, started 9th, down 11 places into 20th. You get Adam Bossy in the mix going through as well. Again, I always call him the Twitch Mobile, and I will continue to call him that because, well, it's a purple and white car that says Twitch on it with Steel Series. What else can I call it? Elton Wu, the Wooster, 22nd, 22nd. Derek Catt there started 7th down to 23rd. That Budweiser car, he might need a Budweiser after this race if he finishes that far back. Chris Graves way back here, the number 53, started 33rd, 24th. Daniel Williams, and then, well, we get a bit more of a jump here. Back to Justin Baxter, 29th to 26th. Kress, Hagig in the mix there. And then Handlin here in the mix as well, going through, running with Nerney, who is running with Tex, our series sponsor here. Shout out Tex, by the way. And if you're looking to get some good lubrication for your vehicle, AMSOIL is a great source. Reach out to Tex there, nicholsoilpros.com. Reach out to him. He is a local AMSOIL dealer and sponsors this Cup Series. Really nice guy. I've worked with him a bit, and I still need to reach out to him to get stuff for the Ranger, but I think my truck needs a new engine, so we might be waiting on an order, Tex, and you might get a couple of big orders from me if I have to change the engine. Hugo Ortiz, Marty Rogers, Trevor McLaughlin, unfortunately, has dropped 4th to 34th. That is heartbreaking there on the night. Al Corey, we saw his incident. He is a lap down. He had that moment in pit lane. Ward Fisher was with him on that, as well as the Uncrustable car of Mark Jarrell. Slaughter is not having a great night, but actually, all things considered, started 38th, currently 38th. He's not doing bad. John Dottle and Elijah Howland, our last car running. We have lost Aiden Amaro in last place in 41st. Back up front, not a lot has changed, but the more things change, the more they stay the same. What do I mean by that? Well, top 5 are together, and 6th place, 1.8 seconds back here. You can see the pack splintered into those 4 groups.
And we might end up staying this way unless a freak accident happens, or of course the pit stops change up everything around, because we saw lots of black flags on the first way in. And otherwise, I don't know how you make up 2 seconds in the pit lane unless drivers mess up ahead of you. It's more likely to... Okay, whatever.
All right, well, what has happened here? Well, Cameron Kane is off the track, so that gives me a slight indication of what has happened. I see the name that's tagged, and I really hope it is not who I think it is here. Let's dial up a PTR TV replay, because if this is who I think it is, it's actually not. So who is involved in this? I don't actually have really any indicator. Let's see if we can find any indication of who was involved in this.
I think Cameron Kane, right? I think Cameron Kane, if he had the off track, you're not going off the track at Daytona. I think Cameron Kane just spun off the corner.
So there's Cameron Kane. What?
I don't have my iRacing open, but I would, and I'd be like giving you like psychic insight. But I genuinely wonder if Cameron Kane just spun off the corner, because I don't see anyone else. I saw that he went off the track. Yeah, he just bumped, and then he's just in a bad place, and that's going to reset the field, I think.
That it is. That's heartbreaking for the top 5. The top 5 were absolutely loving the position they found themselves in, and well, there it is. It is literally the fact that he was trying to get it together and just slowed down a bit too much. That is all it was. Let's get one more replay.
Really could have been worse
for onboard.
Really could have been worse for him and for the rest of the field. Yes, that top 5 now has to fight for it again, but like, he's undamaged. He's lost some places. He's going to be joined the back of a Daytona pack. Oh well. No one hits him. One of the better outcomes, really, for a caution here, I think.
Yeah, it looks like just the field checked up a little bit into 3, and it caught him off guard, and I mean, honestly, look at the wheel work, though. Big shout out to Cameron Kane for keeping this together and saving it. Because it could have been much worse.
That is a very good save. I mean, that could have killed the field, rejoining the track that way, but he was out of control of the car. You know he was trying to slow it down. Good avoidance action by the other cars that went around him as well. And that makes that.
Pit lane, very, very busy here going through. And yes, you saw a car inside a car. I think there's only 40 pit spots. And of course, we have 41 cars. So Zanobi and McClendon get to share a space together. It doesn't affect things in any way. I tell you what, if you're Jeremy Brown right now, I would be upset if I was him because he was in a great position where he was. Howie, do you want to interview our race sponsor, Dominic Zanobi? Usually I would do it, but of course, if I'm filling in for Corey, I think I might have you.
Let's go. Dominic Zanobi, race sponsor, provisional entry after 41st on the grid and doing very, very well. That caution might have helped you out. How are you feeling about the race?
I'm totally screwed that up, and I had to beg them for a spot, but I'm thankful they let me in. But right now, I'm feeling good in the position I'm in. The car feels great, the setup feels great, and we've been having some really good racing.
So, race sponsor, you named it after pacing, and so far we haven't had a pacing catastrophe, and I know because I sponsored the last time it happened at Daytona. Prediction's going to come true.
No, I actually think we're going to be green for the rest of the way. I hope we are. I did that kind of to bring out maybe some good karma or reverse, so that we would have less cautions, because I actually truly love racing this fully green.
Of course, as a sponsor, do you have any shout outs, anything of the kind? I don't always bring one, so it's fine if this throws you off.
No, shout out my fiance. It's probably watching downstairs with my baby. That's what this car is over, and I'll thank the admins for letting me race today, and thank you guys for broadcasting it. We always appreciate you guys being here.
Well, we are cheering for you in the booth. As someone that made it from 41st to here, you've been given your second chance, so best of luck for the restart.
Thank you, guys.
All right, and so Zanobi in good spirits here, running very well. Big shout out to all of Dominic Zanobi's family. And again, a big shout out to everyone watching here live. If it's your first time, don't make it your last time. Make sure you like, subscribe, ring all the bells. I'm still envious that Zanobi has a Stanley ring, but that's, I think, a conversation for another time here. So, Howie, do some quick math for me. We cannot make it to the end right now on fuel, right? Everyone pit in, everyone took fuel. Everyone except for Martin Terrell pitted in.
It'll be 24, won't it? No way.
It'll be something. It'll be interesting.
No,
this will be an interesting one.
Wait a second. So I got to go to my search engine for this. 75 minus 48 because we will be restarting on the next lap. 27. Yeah, we'll need another stop. Very interesting. Do you do that at the end of the run? Do you do that halfway through the run? How do you break that up?
I think you run it till the wheels fall off, honestly, because here's the thing. I don't think we're going to finish on 75. I think if you are like me, you do not expect this thing to finish on lap 75. You're thinking this is going to finish more on about lap 80. We'll find out here as we go. I tell you what, let's do something we don't do a lot often here on PTR TV. We're going to let you enjoy the sights and sounds of virtual Daytona. We're going to go with some temporarily loud engines as we go green. Lap 51 of 75 here coming up for the Palm Tree Pacing 75, which has not had a lot of pacing at all, to be honest, here on the night, which has been kind of exciting to watch here. It's myself, Brad, with Howie Burrows here going through as we see a bit of wiggling there. Guys, they're making me nervous. Dylan Freeman getting a little bit of a wiggle in there. No Jason Derulo to be found, though. Howie, I tell you what, the guys are making me nervous here down the back straight. We're getting into under 25 to go, and well, I don't know how this one's going to end. I said it right before we went loud that I don't think we're going to end on lap 75,
though. We love the green-white checkers, don't we? We love, like, the punishments continuing. That's very, very possible. But they've kept it really sensible. Cautions have been due to errors of getting yourself loose, going too low at some points on the track, or tapping a car wrong. Not really by, like, doing dumb stuff, which I was surprised because I saw a lot of free-wide moves earlier that could have ended in disaster. But how come whenever someone else sponsors Daytona, it's a good day? Is it my fault?
I'm not going to say it's your fault. However, I am going to point out the fact that you are British, so I'm going to leave it there. Not saying there's anything wrong with British sponsoring NASCAR. Wait a minute. This is a primarily...
Look,
hold on. There's a lot...
next week. Look.
The head admin is Canadian. What am I saying? Disregard.
You have a cop-out. You can say, oh, I meant North American, and you're good. You meant the continent, you know? Like, it's got multiple countries in it. Boom. That's my cop-out every time.
You know what? That's actually a good point. Yeah, you know what? Thank you for getting me out of my own hole that I dug there. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Who is in the middle there taking things 3 wide? I can't tell who that is going through, but somebody is in the middle here, and I want to say it is the 40 going through. It was. Kyle Dewey's now going to join, or sorry, no, Keaton Crothers as they go, so we're going to start 3 wide. Kyle Dewey, don't you...
Please don't do this. Please don't do this right now. Not right now. That was terrifying.
Go with him here, trying to go through, trying to find 3 wide on the run along, and well, nobody wants to stick with it there. Kyle Dewey trying to decide if he wants to side draft or lead a line, and well, Kyle Dewey's going to end up in the middle here as we go. Derek Catt trying to get a run on the high line, trying to keep it moving along, and well, I tell you what, the bottom line is very together, except for Derek Catt. The top line is trying to be together, but Derek Catt, it's just kind of a thorn in the side right now where he's at. He's not blending into the line. He's splitting the draft there behind Kyle Dewey with Keaton Crothers. It's putting them in a weird position, and now everyone behind is going to have to make a decision. Do they want to go with the Cat up top? Do they want to go with Crothers through? Or does Cat want to just go back in and get down to a double line? And it looks like that's what we're going to do. We're going to continue along and then charge.
Certainly seeing more moves from the field. It's getting scarier, but that top lane's still a few behind. I know it's in my 500. Sometimes that second lane just got so much steam, it just flew. Put aware of when it happened, or else, you know, you're in trouble. And if we're going to permanently run double file, you just have to be hyper aware of that moment and try and get in on the party before it gets spoiled, inevitably. Right now they're in a good place up there, and obviously there's no real space down low, so you take what you can get. But like, if you're sort of stuck in that top lane, if you're in that position at the front where you're not making any ground and then laps start to run out, what do you do? Probably shouldn't speculate on that because we are due to have another pit stop that's going to break this all up.
That we are, and I think that final pit stop is really going to make or break things as we go along, because that final pit stop is going to just mix it all up as they go. So this is going to be an interesting one to really watch how they handle it. I am interested in seeing who blinks when. I mean, we're 10 laps into this, 20 laps to go. They cannot make it 30 laps. We know that the most they can make it is probably 8 to go if history is to dictate. So if that's the case, what do? You really don't have a good answer on this one. So, I mean, this is going to be an interesting one.
Right now, I think we're doing the safe thing of just, you know, run your race, play your game, wait for it. But if the pack remains this double file, pit stopping becomes frustrating because you have to basically wait for the bottom lane to make their stop, and then you basically inherit the bottom in order to do it. If you have to stop, if you're front of that top line and you're burning the most fuel, and then like you need to stop and you're not being allowed bottom, that sucks. You know, you actually need to find a way to get your car down there. And I know it's the leader of that top line, Caleb Bass, is now pretty much up there, up at the front. But you can't lead that top for too long. He's staying low. Let's have some fun here. He's below the line. That makes that easy. That makes that easy.
Oh, no! You said what? You spoke too soon. Big wreck in the background. Kyle Gresh in it. That is going to be the 2 in there as well. Trevor McLaughlin, the 42. The 41 of Hugo Ortiz. The 42 of, Jason Benson in the mix. That might have just saved everybody's race.
Yeah, I should never commentate again if it's going to be that bad. I mean, like, yikes. I mean, there's a curse, and then there's doing that to somebody, you know.
Let's see if we
it wasn't the lapped car. If it wasn't anything to do with the lapped car, I'm good. If it was to do with the lapped car, then I am well and truly like fallen flat on my face, like in Tom and Jerry.
I have a bad feeling it might have been to do with the lap car. We've got a replay dialed up here. Let's take a look.
I don't know. Get on the chopper. That happened on the high lane. I'm as safe as can be there. That was its own wreck.
Are we sure?
I got rescued. I'm sure.
So that was Harmon checking up. Yeah, so that was Matt Harmon checking up that started that, it looked like. And I don't know where Matt Harmon is in this mix. So, but that is what started that, it looks like. So, and that, unfortunately for Hugo Ortiz, is going to
my job is safe.
What is... I see a lot of people brake checking in the back of the pack. What is happening here, guys? Are they just...
Mass confusion under caution. Happens to all of us.
That
How does
doesn't
this work?
surprise me.
Oh, yeah, we're meant to go slow. I meant to go slow. Whoa. Okay, I understand now.
Look at that out. Look at that right front there for Benson. Look at that. Look at that car. How is he driving this thing?
Oh, I mean, he's not really driving it as much. He's just trying to like get that to pit road. I mean, if he has the fast repair, this is perfect because this is now for the this is the final fuel run. It's right here now, right here. You're not going to find a cam that properly represents what's happened to the front of that car, but it's not doing. Probably gyro gets you the helmet cam, but other than that, yeah. I'm surprised. It looks more like there's wheel damage that's hurt it.
It's that right front wheel that's absolutely ruined that. Oh, as he's coming in, everybody else is coming in. Pit lane is busy this time through. So let's take a look here. Everybody into the pit. Who to look at with what? Other than, well, Zenobia and McClendon inside each other here. Not ideal, but that's where we are. As they come through, everybody runs through and along. Run over the drone cam, why don't we?
I mean, to be fair, just the cam be like that, you know? The point, it's going to get hit.
Boop. Car pops. Bring the backup car out. We are good to go for one Mr. Jason R. Benson. And the R stands for repair that damage and get it back out there. Let's get ready to party because we'll be into about 14 laps to go when we hit the green flag here, Howie.
Rossi and McAnulty going to be leading the front row ahead of Jeremy Brown, Keaton Cravers, Steve McLendon, Jimmy McKee, Dominic Zanobi still up top, and Kyle Dewey. My pick is very far down now, so that must have been temporary, unfortunately. But we have a good field. I mean, we can see we're getting a little bit sillier now, which is how that move really happened and was on in the first place. So maybe you're right about the green-white checkers.
Oh, I know I'm right about him. And for those of you who don't know, let's refresh the green-white checkered rules. There are 2 attempts at a green-white checkered. 2 attempts, count them. 1, 2. And if we lose the second one, well, then the race is just over at the flag. So with that being said, we'll go. And of course, standard iRacing green-white checkered rules apply. If we get to the white, the next flag ends it, which is always going to be the checkered flag.
2 attempts beats 3 beats 1. It's like a perfect little middle ground for me. Now, yeah, do you think these final laps are going to suddenly be the longest of the race? Like, we've been here for a long time, and we've made it through a lot, and now all of a sudden we're about to hit what they call a proverbial brick wall in the way. Do you think that's likely?
So looking at our calculator here on the back end, it says 11 minutes and 45 seconds of racing left if this race were to go green to the end. You factor in the fact that this is a pace lap, which is going to take about 2 minutes. Call it 12 minutes of racing to finish this up. Now, I can tell you, 12 minutes of racing, I mean, it's kind of like if you watch the NBA or the NFL. They say 2 minutes. Does it really take 2 minutes to play those 2 minutes if it's a hard fought close game? We'll see how this one plays out. I think this is going to be one of those that you kind of just watch, you see what happens, and you let it be here. Ward Fisher, Mark Jarrell, both a lap down. They drop to the low line. Looks like they are going to fall to the tail end of the line here, and we have extended the caution by 1 lap. So we'll be 13 laps to go when we go through. Lights come back on the pace car. It looks like still trying to get a little bit of the field sorted out here of who goes where.
We'll get there eventually. We'll work it out.
Something like that. Possibly. Probably. May chaps. We'll see.
Almost
we'll see
there. You know, we're almost there. I'm so excited. Woo! I have a roommate, by the way. Just, you know.
RIP the roommate. I'm sure the roommate is not going to appreciate that. But, hey, tell your roommate
he knows I do this. He knows I do this. He puts in earplugs.
I was about to say, tell your roommate it's triple bypass racing on PTR TV. I'm sure that all will be forgiven as it should be. Now, with my wife, that's a different story.
Maybe so. You've got a harder one to sell. I mean, I had to broadcast races on Valentine's Day, and a part of me was thinking, like, what league admin is putting their race on Valentine's Day and not noticing, and getting a 30-car field, by the way. Like, oh, okay.
Listen, sometimes the best form of love is to be allowed to do something you enjoy. With that being said, I don't know that I would have ran a race on Valentine's Day. My Valentine's Day was spent moving a couch. So, but, hey, it's what she wants, it's what she gets. Welcome to real, true love, ladies and gentlemen. Wife says, move a couch. You say, yes, ma'am, and you move said couch. Now, nothing tests a marriage more than moving furniture in your home. So do with that information what you will. It's going to be 13 laps when we take the green flag here. And up front, Adam Bossy, Walker McAnulty there, Jeremy Brown, who's been very, very strong and is always strong here. And then Nicholas Crothers in 4th. And Mr. 3-time McClendon here going through. Kyle Dewey there in P8 going through with the race sponsor Zanobi there. Jimmy McKee, the Red Bull racer, there in P number 6. Harcum and Hopkins round out the top 10. Place your final predictions in YouTube chat. Who is going to win this doggone race in the next 14 laps? Give or take a few. Well, someone make the prediction because obviously I don't know how to make predictions up here in the booth. So with that being said, we're just going to enjoy this one. Buckle it up. Pull your belts tight one more time, whatever it is that they say on the official NASCAR broadcast, which we didn't get a boogity. So maybe we give a boogity
Bart
here.
Simpson, though.
We did get Bart Simpson and 800 episodes of The Simpsons, which is kind of ridiculous.
And I'm sure they've all been of equal quality, and the series has never, ever declined in any perceivable way.
It's totally not 800 episodes just to say they've done 800 episodes. And totally not been recycling of content throughout the years. No, never. You've never seen.
Anyway, who's going to see that movie? Who's going to see that movie? Am I right? I'm going to do it. So, you know, they've got me.
Here we go for what could be a final restart. 13 laps to go when they cross the line. We go through the restart zone. Barney waves the green flag. Let's get this thing going here. Adam Bossy in the lead. Jeremy Brown, P2.
Going to break away on the top 2 there. I am surprised by quite how hard they've done that. The pack will come back, of course. You don't really want to jump the field in the restart zone at Daytona. Really, you want to just you know, go slow until you get the green flag, because if you're running ahead of the fields, you're just going to get, you know, freight trained back on you if you push out too fast. So now the pack has rejoined that outside lane, broken in two. We've already lost, what, like half the cars? Why not?
Yeah, watch here. Watch with Kyle Dewey. Kyle Dewey, a little bit of a wiggle there on that outside line. Doesn't seem to be as comfortable. Somebody already breaking out to the outside there. That is the 30... I'm going to say it's the 835 of Casey Ellis. I might be wrong on that. I was very wrong on that. Can't tell you who's on the high line then. So with that, it's the 35 of Daniel Williams. There we go. He drops back in, loses tons of places. Kyle Gresh there working with one Mr. Al Corey, the boss man, coming along here. Let's see how they go here, coming around the backstretch. Somebody goes way low. That is, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, not Kyle Gresh. I don't know who that was that dropped all the way off the pack, but somebody in the background decided to do that. Up front, we hold 2x2 here. Coming around 11 laps to go. What? If you're near the back, when do you start making a move? Because obviously somebody there has decided to start making the moves now. I believe that is going to be back there around Casey Ellis that we're starting to see the moves.
Well, you want to be roughly in the right place. I wouldn't go full ham on, you know, going as high up as possible. But if you're not near that top 10, you're not really going to be able to make that move with a few to go. And you can't just assume race as it stands. Only really one car off the back. Careful with the yellow line, people. I'm not sure that top lane, though, is really doing much. And it's about to end in total disaster. Well saved. So we don't lose too much, having a little bit of time on that top. He's still in the wall. Oh, God, drop to the back.
Lift the throttle. Lift the throttle. Casey Ellis there going through, getting away with it. That's Caleb Bass there in that golden Hendrick car. We're still 3 wide up in the front, though. So hold on to your underwear there. Kyle Gresh going to work the high line there with Brad Kress. The 023 of Anthony Suarez now in the mix as well. Going through in the middle line. You've got low, middle, high line. This is where the racing gets hard. I was wondering, when do you start making moves? And the answer was 10 to go here. This is when you want to start finding a lane, start to make a move, start to get things going. There's Hopkins having to drop off the track there with a big wiggle. As he goes through, he drops off the pack. Nope, there it is. We're gone. There's a wreck.
There was some really stupid bumps there at the bottom. That really kick-started the whole series of wobbles that would lead to that wreck. That cascades to a real domino effect. Al Corey trying not to wreck the car. Just get it moving on that banking. If you try walking up that thing, it's a long walk.
Let's go back and see where this thing started here. So Hopkins dropped down low, and then the top line, watch the 878 there. He tries to go down into a space that didn't exist. And when he did that, well, that sort of just... Al Corey with a hard hit to the outside wall there, going through. But yeah, it all really stemmed from that 878. Here, and we're going to get one more good zoomed in shot of it here as it goes from the TV tower. This will really give you an idea of where it came from, because you'll see he's got a big run on the high line and just tries to clear himself in front of the 35. And then again, Al Corey there, just a hard hit to the wall, unfortunately. Lots of good cars getting caught up in that.
This is why if you were tagged at the start, you hopefully saved your fast repair, because if you just got Al Corey there, you want to be back in this race now.
Fast repair has now been used. Cameron Kane is going to have to use a fast repair here if he can get in the box. That right front absolutely destroyed, and he's trying, man. He's trying. Can he get over enough to get in the box for it to just pop that car back together?
He's way too far forwards. Yeah, like, he needs to actually stop in front of the 37 sign. No, in front of it.
Nope, there it is.
Okay.
I think it's just the camera angle. So this is going to make things interesting. Is anyone going to care to even want to try to make a pit stop here as they come through? The answer is a big resounding fat no. Nobody cares enough to make a pit stop right now.
If you've got enough fuel, you'll be saving under caution as well. Surely you can make it even on 2 green checkers have been filled up properly and you stopped at the right time. Don't think it'll be a problem for anyone.
So let's do some math on this really quick. So we're 8 laps with 8 to go. 8 laps into a stint. 20 was the key. We do one green-white checkered. That's going to put them at around 23 laps. So if we have to go into a green-white checkered, they will need to pit before the green-white checkered in theory. Unless
I mean, the
somebody's
caution
been
laps
saving
are
enough.
saving. The caution laps are saving you fuel, surely. I'd imagine.
I would think. Oh, this is going to be an interesting one. Here from virtual Daytona International Speedway as we go along. I will tell you right now, this track is as big in real life as it feels here in the sim. This is a track that I absolutely love and will always love as these cars go down. We should have about, I'm going to say 5 to go, maybe 4 to go. We might get like a halfway pseudo green-white checkered coming through. We'll see how this goes as everyone paces their way along.
I'd truly love to go. I'd love to go here. The America trips are too expensive. I used to sort of do them, and now I need to continue making lots of money by grinding through broadcast until one day I could do it again. But I'd love to do something like the Daytona 24, probably over Le Mans. Actually, I think it's a way cooler destination.
Now that is a big statement there, saying the Daytona 24 is better than Le Mans. However,
Le Mans is mid. Le Mans is not mid. It's just bad. It's just not. It's a pointless track. It's not good.
Just remember that was Howie Burrows. I'm not saying I disagree with him. I'm just saying that was Howie Burrows who said that. 1 to go this time by. We'll have 6 laps to finish this thing out here as the cars go through. And the leader, Walker McNulty, is going to pick the low line there with Jimmy McKee in second place. Everybody getting into their 2x2s. We have lost the following drivers out of this race. We have lost Caleb Bass. Actually, no. Yeah. We've only lost 1 car out of this, actually. It's Aiden Amaro. We still have 40 cars running here at the moment.
All the better to pace in the Palm Tree Pacing 75 with. That's all I hear.
Listen, we haven't done that much pacing today, so I'm pretty okay with this, I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, I feel like it might be about to start, though. Yeah, no.
Well, let's play the game. How many cautions have we had today?
I'm not looking. This is number 3.
Survey says 4. Which, honestly, 4 cautions at Daytona, I'm not that upset at it. 10 leaders, 15 lead changes. I'm not that upset there. Your Whiplash Sim Hams recap coming through. Let's see here. Weather is still nice and gorgeous as it was when this race started. So, really at this point, it's a fixed setup. Everyone has to run through. You've got nothing except for the noggin in your head and the hands on the wheel to really make this one work. I don't see any thumbsticks, Tyler thumbsticks floating around here anywhere. So everyone, I believe, is on a wheel, unless, well, you never know. Walker McNulty could be racing on a keyboard, and if that's the case, I tell you what, let's see how this one ends up here. Top 10 as it goes. McNulty, McKee, Dewey, Cat, Bossy, Wu, Brown, Suarez, Crothers, and Gresh. They take the green flag here as we get going. What could be the final restart.
Already that Red Bull car, Jimmy McKee, wants that top lane, but he doesn't have cars to support him, so if he sticks his nose out too far, he will just side draft the next one behind. Needs to wait a little bit. Now he's waited there. That pack's a little closer. He can take it, but he was clearly pushing for that one.
This is going to be an interesting one to really keep our eyes on as they go through. How is this going to end is the million-dollar question. We're 2x2 right now. Who's going to decide to pull out and make this 3 wide? Well, I see Dominic Zanobi trying to go the high line there. Hopkins goes through. Little bit of a tap there in the background from Zanobi as he goes through. I believe that was Eddie Haggig who was there just as they go through. Kyle Gresh trying to side draft up in the front as we go through. And there's Kyle Dewey. Can he do it? Bob the Builder, can we fix it? Kyle Dewey, can he do it? He's going to come through, get right behind the 27. 5 laps to go as they come out of turn 2.
The laps are going to count down, but this is a long track, so they don't count down very fast, unlike your typical oval. You've got a long way to run. I always like imagine like, oh, let's say Rockingham can't be that bad, and then I hear it's up like 2.5. Oh, I think I might die. My legs can't quite keep up with it. 4 to go on the line. We're dropping down hard. Kyle Gresh and Jeremy Brown. I called it, Brad. I called it. We're going to do this.
That we are 4 laps to go, 3 minutes of racing. This race here as we go and come along. Jeremy Brown, Kyle Gresh side by side. Jimmy McKee, Kyle Dewey, P3, P4 respectively. 2x2. Who wants to take it 3 wide? I don't on the backstretch. Everybody fanning out and around looking for something. Nobody willing to make the move right now as we go. It looks like possibly Nerney in the background taking things 3 wide, but it looks like that's not going to capitalize. He has no friends with him right now. Here we go up front. Gresh, Dewey off of 4, coming into the tri-oval. This is going to get us 3 to go. If you're going to make a move, now's the time.
Want to be in the right place, but I would say it's the white flag where really you want to be making the big push of your life. So hold your horses. Going down low there. That's Dewey trying to pick his lane carefully. You can't pick and choose every half a lap unless you want to risk bad things happening to you. Bottom line's faster through the corners, but watch that top come back now that we are going down the straight. Quite a few drivers just out of line, dropping back, dropping below that yellow. Never going to help you.
Steve McClendon, one of those drivers there in the back, dropping down low. Steve McClendon possibly about to take things 3 wide in the back. And it looks like that's Ben Harkham coming through. That's McClendon wrecking. There's a wreck going through. That's going to take McClendon. That takes Mark Jarrell. That takes Matt Harmon. And that, unfortunately, is going to bring out a caution. We go to overtime.
I mean, unfortunately, as if it wasn't written in the stars, I think you did call that one coming.
Oh, we knew what this was going to be. Let's be honest. We knew where this was going to go. I don't think anyone was surprised.
I had hope in my little blackened heart. Okay? It almost has no joy and whimsy in it left. And I thought, maybe we could do this. Nope, not at all.
So that was the 70 and the 51 of McClendon, and the 70 being Mike Serra getting together. And then you see back in the background there, Harmon gets a good hit as well. The 37 of Cameron Kane, look at him come sliding in. Al Corey, an unfortunate bystander in this one as well, takes a hard hit. We're going to get one on board here with Cameron Kane because he was actually back in another pack, so I don't really know where he came from in this one. So we're going to get a replay with him. Let's take a look and see where he came from. So the wreck's happening ahead. You can see the wreck happening. He's off the throttle. He's off the throttle. He drops down. He tries to brake, splitting the yellow line, and just loses control of the car. And then, Al Corey.
Is there anyone behind him at all?
There is. I don't believe so, actually. Let's go back.
If there's no one behind you, I think the smarter move is obviously to just slow it down to a near stop. I see what you're thinking in a panic when you're coming up to that field, of course. But it's always so scary going below that line on the turns. So scary.
Yeah, there it is. Him just splitting that double yellow. And, well, this is on board with Elijah Howland. You can see there Elijah just jamming onto the brakes going through. All right. What does this mean for drivers? Well, here we go. This is what I think is going to be interesting. So Adam Bossi was on 29 laps without pitting. So Adam Bossi has to pit, of course. Mark Jarrell was in that incident and has to pit. Mike Serra, of course, has to pit because he has a meatball flag coming through. Trevor McLaughlin is been in for... He was only in for 3 laps. He's now in. He's getting, it looks like, some damage repair, I have to say. Nobody else in. Everyone on 15 laps. They will be... If we make it through, they'll be pushing 20 laps at this point. Kyle Dewey in the lead right now. Jeremy Brown, Gresh, McKee, Wu, top 5 here. This is going to be an interesting one.
Oh, there we go. I guess we know, these drivers know, I think, what they're capable of on fuel. I think they're being helped under the cautions, obviously. If they had to stop, they had to stop. 2 attempts at this, not 3, like is sometimes default in a lot of leagues. So we won't be here for the end of time, and there's even track lights if somehow that were to happen to us. So we're sort of spared no matter which outcome there, but I wonder if we're even going to get through this one or whether we'll even reach the white.
This is... So here's the thing. They have to get through one clean lap to get the white flag. So if we make it to the white, it's checkers or wreckers. It's going to be the mentality. So the question on the night becomes, do we make it to the white flag, as you just said? And the answer on this is, I don't know. Also, remember, we have an incident limit. 16x is a drive-through, 20x is a DQ. Is anyone pushing that incident limit? I don't think anyone in the front is pushing the incident limit, but anyone in the mid-pack, are they pushing an incident limit issue where if they do something, is it going to absolutely cost them their race? Is we're 1 to green here? I don't know. Oh, it's going to be a weird one. And Steve McClendon losing the lottery here. He's down in P30 right now. He's on the lead lap still. He took his fast repair. This will be an interesting one. And what about Brad Kress being up here in the mix with Zenobi here? P12 and P14 for them. And Brad Kress, remember, he was in that first caution all the way back over an hour ago now.
I felt so young an hour ago. Talked about ages. I felt so much younger. I mean, it's been a good race. I'm saying that as if this has been like a total disaster, and those have happened on the league before. But it actually has been a pretty good race with about the expected attrition at Daytona, and I'd say even some better running. So you never really know what you're going to get on a day like this. But murderer or an incredible finish, or even both, as it often goes.
This is going to be one of those that I think the jaw's going to hit the floor at the end of it, and I'm probably going to jump out of my chair. But you know what? It's what I'm paid for. It's what I enjoy. So let's buckle this thing up here. Coming through turn 3. Final predictions. Who's going to win this one?
I have to stick with Kyle Gresh. Have to stick with him. I started there. He's in a good place to do it. It would be betrayal to say anything else.
I need Dominic Zanobi to win this one just for the storyline. I don't know if he's going to, but you know what? I wouldn't be upset if he did. Pull your belts tight. Pull it together. We're going to find out who wins, who loses, who goes home, checkers or wreckers. It's green, white, checker to tip number 1 here at the Palm Tree Pacing 75 here in the Nichols Oil Pro Cup Series. Green flag is out from Barney. Let's get this thing going.
Surprised again that Dewey's jump in the field on the restart. It just seems like the slower way to get things done, but he's going to do it, and McKee's going to jump behind, and it's Brown and Gresh on the bottom before we even get to the top.
Coming through out of turn 2, Kyle Gresh is going to shove it low there on McKee outside Jeremy Brown. This is already getting feisty up in the front. We said if it's the white flag, it ends it through. Gresh is going to squeeze Brown high. Dewey down low. Where does Elton Wu, the Wooster, go? Jeremy Brown spins. Big one in turn 3.
The Kyle Gresh prophecy remains exactly as intended. One Kyle couldn't win today, so Kyle must avenge. And if Kyle doesn't win, then Kyle could win. So we really have avenged Kyle Busch, am I right?
Oh, absolutely. We've avenged Kyle Busch. Had to have been done. This changes everything. Let's dial up a PTR TV replay and get an idea here on who was involved in that and what happened. We're going to watch this one from the blimp cam because I think that's the best angle for it. So keep an eye up front here. Gresh, Dewey, and then there goes Elton Wu, and well, Zenobi's in it. Nerney survives somewhere, somehow. Nichols, the 70, the 88, the 84. I mean, it's almost easier to say the cars that weren't involved in that one than it is to say the cars that were. And I want to get an on board with Zach Nerney because, as I said, he survived this one, and I don't have a flapping clue how.
Typical Daytona activities. If you're at the front, you survive that wreck. If you're at the far back, you probably survive that entire wreck.
All right, here we go. On board. So there it goes. Zenobi spins. He took a little bit of damage, but then he just blends high. He's through. And I mean, carnage behind. Okay, I want to say this really quick because I just want to make sure that this is addressed. me and Nerney are very good friends. I am, of course, the spotter for Nerney on Thursday night's Xfinities. However,
O'Reilly!
Well, yeah, same difference. My question right now, how is he always in the position that he avoids these ridiculous wrecks? How does he get away with it, as we have, of course, every damaged car coming into the pits here now?
He learns from you. Like, you know, you gain experience from having such a... I want you to spot in my ear. Can I arrange that? You know, get out. We'll find someone else to get in the booth next week, and you can spot Atlanta for me. I'll be trying to hit the track, of course, for my own sponsored race, no matter what I do, hell or high water. So, you know, that's a plan. Yeah, you don't get paid for it, so probably not. But you know what? I put the offer on the table.
I'll see what I can arrange. I'm not going to confirm nor deny.
You should commentate that race. You should commentate that race and make fun of my misfortune. Is the correct answer, by the way. But
maybe
you know, I'm saying it would be an honor to get spotted one day in my life, somewhere, somehow.
I will remember that. We'll see what happens. All right, so let's just look here really quick. We're going to walk through 11 cars here as they go, because there's 11 cars. I would say the top 12 are really in contention of winning this on this second green white checkered attempt. So you have Nerney in 11th, Ben Harkham, the Chick-fil-A car, in P12. P10 you have Hopkins. P9 you have Kress, who's carrying some more right front damage. Keaton Crothers there in P8, Bill Moore in P7, Marty Rogers, Walter McAnulty, Jimmy McKee, Anthony Suarez, Kyle Dewey, Kyle Gresh. We're about to have Kyle on Kyle violence. Let's start with the obvious. Let's start with the given. Kyle on Kyle violence is incoming. Jimmy McKee is running a Red Bull paint scheme. You have Sweet Tarts in the mix. You have Brad Kress, who is a doggone good racer and is very well known in this league. You have Keaton Crothers, Mr. 6'9" tall, who is probably, his head is in the top of the spotter stand right now, trying to get an idea of what he's doing. You have Nerney here, Mr. I don't know how to race oval, who has wins in every league right now, or on Sunday nights, Tuesday nights, and Thursday nights right now in Triple Bypass, which makes no sense to me. McClendon has found his way back up to 17th, so if there is some wild turn of luck, don't count McClendon out. Hopkins in the number 10 is in P10. He's going to be in the mix to make a run. All right, well, I tell you what, this is going to be a barnstormer. This is going to be absolutely ridiculous, and I don't have an answer for who's going to win this one, other than this is going to be absolutely freaking ridiculous.
Those are good words to describe. I think we have some excellent drivers at the front. I think we have people that have now proven they'll do anything for the dub here at Daytona. It's 500 evening. Why wouldn't you? I'm about as excited as you on this one. Let's put it like that.
I'm excited and I'm nervous. This is either going to go really well or really, really poopy doopy diaper. And, well, it's 50-50 for me how this goes, and I think this is just going to be a case of we get what we get, and we don't throw a fit. Because this is the final chance. Remember that, Howie. It's 2 green-white checkers. This is it. It's checkers or wreckers this time.
We could just end under yellow. Boo. Let's not will the bad things into existence. Let's will in an excellent race finish and an exciting run to the line. It's Daytona. It was artificially manufactured to create this, so we are going to sit down and enjoy it.
That we are. Let's see how this goes. Buckle it up. Have some fun. Let's see. On Kyle up in the front. Do we actually get a Kyle to win, unlike today? We'll find out. Kyle Gresh takes us to the green flag for the final time.
Our top line's nowhere right now. They're going to need some serious work. Driver's third back is out of line, so didn't give them a huge amount of momentum. They're still out of line. They're just killing that top line entirely, trying to make it free wide right here. Gresh, going to the middle to try and make this work, though. Getting absolutely shoved along by Dewey, who better not explode his engine trying to handle this.
Dewey's going to peek to the outside here. Down the inside goes Bill Moore and Brad Kress. This is going to make things interesting as they come through. 3 wide across on the high line. That is Marty Rogers coming through. Here we go. The lead right now, Bill Moore. We take the white flag. Next flag will be the checkered flag. Gresh and Dewey together in the middle. Gresh goes down to defend. Coming into turn 1, we're 4 wide.
There's no way this ends well for the drivers in the middle. Even if we don't reckon we do, it's Gresh around, and that's going to be a giant one. And Marty Rogers is leading the field. I think iRacing likes to keep it green, and if it does, we're going to have 4 racing to the line.
Marty Rogers, Keaton Crothers, Kyle Dewey, Michael Hopkins, the only 4 to come through from that. Everyone else in the field collected. Here we go. Marty Rogers, Keaton Crothers, Kyle Dewey in third. Can he get a run? Here we go. To the outside goes Keaton Crothers. Marty Rogers to the inside. Kyle Dewey's going to dip down low. Who's going to win? Dewey around. There's the 12 around. Kyle Dewey wins it. And around goes Keaton Crothers in second. Rogers and Hopkins finds 4th place, but Kyle does win. The only Kyle who made it through that final wreck.
And my Kyle did the exact same thing he did today. But an incredible race, an incredible finish, an incredible win. There's nothing I kind of hate more as a producer than trying to track down what happened during a race-ending big one. So you have fun with that. I'll sit back and relax.
Oh, this is going to be an easy one to track down. I have a button for this. Here we go. As we go into this. Well, I had a button for that, and the button no work. So we're just going to very quickly dial this one up before we go over the final race results. Here we go. Coming through. Here's your race-ending big one. And we thought we had the big one earlier. Nah, this was the big one. Let's be honest here.
We've gotten the big one at Daytona. Can we get the long one at Talladega? It makes you think.
That's actually a good point. Look at them. The real question is who didn't get involved in that? And I'm telling you right now, there's not a good answer. As we go back live pictures here with Kyle Dewey burning it down here at Daytona as he has earned the absolute right to do here. And let's go through and get your post-race results pulled up here on the Palm Tree Pacing 75. Kyle Dewey, Keaton Crothers, Marty Rogers, Michael Hopkins, Kyle Dean in P5, Tex Nichols in 6, Mark Terrell P7, Dominic Zanobi in 8th, Jason R. Benson, the R stands for resilience because he found P9, Bill Moore in P10.
Steve McLendon takes 11. This is all the big one here. Jimmy McKee takes 12. Bad Cress ahead of Casey Ellis, Derek Catt, Adam Bosley, Walker McAnulty, Zach Nerney, Keith Handlin, and Kyle Gresh made it to 20th out of that.
21st, Elton Wu, Anthony Suarez, 22nd, Justin Baxter, Dylan Daniel Williams, McLaughlin, Ward Fisher, Elijah Howland, Brown, Slaughter, Dowdle, Graves, Ortiz, Haggig, Al Corey, Cameron Kane, and Caleb Bass. And of course, 41st, Aiden Amaro, and then the cars who didn't make it, Samson Lewis Jr., Caleb Brown, John Denage, Crutchley, John Barton, and Phoenix Mattern did not make the race. Howie Burrows, you are the guest here. I'm going to let you talk to the leader, Mr. Kyle Dewey, because can he do it? He did it. Let's catch up with the number 33.
Kyle wins at Daytona. It didn't happen earlier today, and as a result, we were able to get exactly, I think, what we deserved on that finish. A lot of that big one happened behind you, but you were in place for a lot of it after that slow start. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you guys. Yeah, it was a very crazy finish there. First half was, relatively calm. Then things got pretty crazy. Just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Just really lucky that everything kind of happened behind me there.
This is one of the better races this league's had around Daytona. Did you have as much fun as we had watching a lot of that?
Normally, I'm not really much of a super speedway enjoyer. we actually had about, I think, 46 cars qualify for the race today, and you had to get on time. So I'm not normally a good qualifier, so I was lucky to make it in. But for the most part, I do enjoy the clean racing. I do like having to have a green flag pit stop. I had a really good one, so I was able to come from, I think, in the deep 20s to the top 10. So that's how I was able to make it up there.
That last lap move, you acted almost entirely on instinct, but where was your instinct pulling you? Did you have to think about that for even a second?
I was actually a little bit further back on the backstretch with than the two people in front of me. I think it was Marty and Keaton. I saw that they had a pretty good advantage over me, but I was gaining pretty quick going into 3 and 4, and I knew that whatever move the guy in second place was going to do, I was going to do the exact opposite. Was lucky to squeeze on the bottom of Marty and take the win at the stripe.
Any other thank yous or shout outs in victory lane today?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Dom, who sponsored the race, Tex for sponsoring the league. Great group of guys here. So shout out to the TVP guys. Shout out to my family watching in Dover. Shout out to my wife for letting me run this on Sundays. And it was great to talk to you guys.
Well, you're a part of history for one of the greatest finishes here on Triple Bypass. So that was a whole lot of fun. Go celebrate in the lounge. That was a bit of an impromptu exit, I realised, but sometimes you just say weird things at 3 a.m. 4 almost.
Oh yeah, it is almost 4 a.m. for you. So tell you what, let's go interview second place, which is one Mr. I've already blanked on who won what. Keaton Crothers, who on my screen is still sideways, so that's kind of funny. Let's find Keaton. Keaton, Brad here in the booth, man. Second place. That was a wild finish. How do you feel?
Yeah, it's too bad. Wouldn't like to stay up front there, but as close as it gets, I guess.
Listen, man, I got to ask. Final lap, absolute chaos broke loose behind. Was 3 wide. Is there anything you could have done to get the win there?
Well, I don't know. I got to go back and watch it one more time. But I hate that I turned down on Marty. I pushed him all the way around. But yeah, I don't know. I was trying to get down to hold him up a bit, but Dewey came in flying. So,
dude, it's absolutely amazing. So, just taking a look here and looking at how things have gone here for Daytona, how are you feeling about next week coming up with Atlanta?
I'm a big fan. It's a fun track. I really like that the new layout or whatever you want to call it there. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely, man. Before we let you go, anyone you want to thank, anyone you want to shout out, the floor is yours.
I always thank you boys for doing this, and thanks to the admins for running this show. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thanks, Keaton. Congratulations on the P2, and we'll catch up with you later, man.
Thanks, boys. See you.
All right, and that leaves one third place, Marty Rogers, to catch up with. Let's see if Marty's around and available here, because I don't see Marty right offhand. It might just be a me issue. So no third place to talk to, but I tell you what, I want to look at that big one more time here while you give your final thoughts here. One Mr. Howie Burrows.
You know, if I sponsored this race, it would have been a disaster. Instead, we got a really fun one out on the track and about the attrition you expect around here, but it was breezy, it was action-packed, it was exciting. The pit strategy was fascinating because we got our green flag cycles, bless, and we got the big one. I mean, the Daytona 500, I think, was pretty good this year, and Triple Bypass deliver on the same day, I think.
That they do. And then, of course, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. We've got a busy week coming up here. Tuesday night, it is ARCA. Wednesday night, it's Elbows Out. And then next week, we come back again for Triple Bypass. There's a big announcement coming next Monday to the channel. I can't say anything else other than there's a big announcement coming. So be sure you tune in for that on Monday. If you aren't subscribed, make sure you subscribe because that'll be coming as a community post to the channel. So with that being said, this is where we're going to send things off here with one win for one Mr. Kyle Dewey. So, on behalf of Howie, my name is Brad. We've taken you start to finish. Be sure to join us for the next one where we take you start to finish yet again. Good night.